how would you propose to affect change? How do you see it going, and how would you go about getting the job done?
I think City Hall needs to be shook up and shook up bad. I think there's kind of a lackadaisical approach to what's going on down there right now. Business as usual, and even though your major portion of your population in Fernley is very unhappy with what goes on at City Hall, with the ways the monies are being spent, with no accountability. The last City Council in, I think it was December, directed that they needed to do an evaluation on the city manager. Here we are, the end of September. They still don't have the document drawn up to do the evaluation. So how efficient is the city council really working with the city manager? I mean, that should be a top priority. If I was a city manager, I would want to be evaluated every 6 months to know whether or not I was performing my job in a timely, professional manner. You know, and you know, if in fact he is doing that, he should open that type of scrutiny with open arms, instead of it always being put on the back burner and never addressed. Yeah, I don't know how the city council can function. The agendas are supposed to be put out 5 days prior to the meeting, 5 working days, and they don't get their staff reports until Monday afternoon at 4:30, which gives them Tuesday, Monday if they're here in town, Tuesday morning if they go down there and get it first thing in the morning, and at Wednesday at 4 o'clock they have to make recommendations and know everything that's on that agenda. If they don't have the staff report prepared and given to the city clerk when the agenda is posted, those items should not be on the agenda and they should not be addressed, because I don't care who you are, you cannot make an intelligent decision on all of the items that are on the agenda with just a few minutes or a few hours or even a day to go over the stuff. You cannot, you're going by what the staff tells you to do. And that's not what city councilmen are elected to do. They're elected to represent the people in the community. The staff is there to find the information, all of the information, give it to the city council in a timely manner. Let them read it, go out and look at the projects, talk to the people that are involved, whatever the issue is, so they can make an intelligent recommendation for the city. And on every agenda, there are items that are agendized by the city, specifically for the city, that that information, those staff reports are not given out until the meeting when the presentation is being done. And, you know, these guys got regular jobs, regular lives, and you cannot take that information, go through it, think about it, and come up with a recommendation either for or against whatever the issue is in a responsible manner, as far as I'm concerned.
So you're saying that the 5 days, you should have all the information 5 days before when the agenda comes out. You should have all the information, including the information that is going to be presented by an entity at the city council meeting.
Exactly.
Now, just so everyone can get a good idea of what councilmen look at, because they're going to say, oh, it's an agenda, it's got 10 items on it, and they're probably thinking you get 2 or 3 pieces of paper. What in fact happens?
You have the consent agenda that has 15 to 30 items on it every week. And that's the first item that is put out for after reports and public input. That's the very first item is to address. And in this are change orders. There was a $96,000 change order for the water treatment plant this week. It's been signed by the Public Works Manager and Mr. Baycock and the attorney. But there's no time to really sit down and say, is this a legitimate change order, or is this something that we should direct back to the architect because he left it out of the project, or maybe it needs to go to the builder because he left it out of the project. And it's on every meeting. There's been, I would say, in excess of $800,000 in change orders since the arsenic treatment plant got started. And, you know, when you're talking about a $100 million project or an $80 million project, $800,000 is not really a significant amount of money. But if you're talking to the citizens of Fernley, whose water bill went from $50 a month to $500 a month to pay for these change orders, it's a huge amount of money. That's a car payment. That's half their house payment. That's their electrical payment and their gas payment. I mean, everybody's talking about energy problems with natural gas to heat your house and electricity so your refrigerator works and all this other stuff. Both of those combined are less than what the water is to water your lawn. And these are the issues that the people in Fernley are concerned with. You know, we have to get a control on these issues.
So how many pages, how much reading does a councilman have to go through to catch up? Granted, there isn't much
It depends. I've seen it's been a ream of paper and it's printed on both sides usually. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, what is there, 250 pages in a ream? I think there's 250 pages in a ream, I'm not sure. Mm-hmm. So that's 500 pages of information that you have to read, and you have to come up with a conclusion whether it's legitimate or not legitimate, and how you think you should vote on it, or what recommendation you should make if you're either for it or against it. And then it has the names of all the parties concerned, and I feel like it's the councilman's responsibility to, if it's really an important issue, to talk to the parties concerned and ask them their opinion. Because a lot gets, you know, in writing stuff down, a lot gets left out. Instead of having a verbal conversation with somebody, you know, and when you write stuff, you write it, and you go over it, and you write it, and you change stuff, and you tweak it so it says just exactly what you want to say. But then when you get done, there's always things that you left out that you should have said. And when you have a conversation with people, then you might be opposed to something until you go and talk to that person or the people that are involved with it. You talk to both sides, and then you come to a conclusion yourself of what you think is right for the city or wrong for the city. Mm-hmm. Being it's a business coming in, or a project that's going to be done in front of the schools, a CIP project. I mean, all these things, what is important to this person is not really that critical to that person. So all these issues have to be addressed in a category of priorities.
So that you mentioned the city staff, whoever it may be, are making recommendations to the city council instead of just giving the facts.
Yeah, they make a recommendation to approve or a recommendation not to approve. And
now, why are they doing that in your mind? Is it pertinent?
Because
or you just need the information?
supposedly the recommendation to approve or the recommendation not to approve, and it's written out there that you have to, if it's dealing with a piece of property, you have to give the APN number, the person, the address, you know, all these little increments there, which is information that is necessary for the councilman. But to me, a recommendation is, this is what I think is going to happen if we do it, and this is what I think is going to happen if we don't do it. Mm-hmm. Well, it's the councilman's responsibility to take each of those items, look at them, and come up with his own recommendation. The recommendation they make might be fine. If it's approving a business license, or, you know, I personally don't even think business licenses should be put on the agenda. I think if you have a business in Fernley, unless it's an adult bookstore or a bar or something like that might be located close to a school or a residential area. I mean, there's all these little things that you have to look at in addition to. But if it's just businesses, somebody wants to start a landscape service or open up a baby's sitting facility or whatever it is, and they have to get the business license, they still have to be inspected by the building department and the fire department before they can open for business. And then they go to City Hall, they pay their money for their business license. It should be approved at that point. It's to me, it is not effective to waste everybody's time addressing business license issues unless they have to have a variance for one reason or another to have the business in the area that they want to locate it.